So in 2021, one person died and 30 people were hospitalized with life-threatening complications after consuming a local brew known as Munkoyo. So today I'm here to answer your question, which is why is it that people develop life-threatening complications after consuming Munkoyo, and some unfortunate people even happen to die. So what happens is that this Munkoyo is prepared from the roots of a tree which is commonly known as Munkoyo tree, but the scientific name, it is known as Rhynchosia. So Rhynchosia is the genus. The genus is like a surname. So this genus has got a lot of species. Okay, so what happens is that this species, here in Zambia, we've got 2 poisonous species of Rhynchosia. But however, when you look at the plants outside, the appearance, they seem to be the same. Okay, so it is very difficult to differentiate them. So the 2 poisonous species that we have here in Zambia, we have one which is called Rhynchosia elegan and the other one called Rhynchosia sublobata. Okay, so a lot of theories were proposed on the mechanism of action of the toxin, but however, the actual mechanism of action is unknown. So some of the theories, some people said it works like cyanide poisoning, where it blocks the 4th complex in the mitochondria in the electron transport chain. That's what some people proposed. Other people said it contains certain enzymes, certain compounds. This same tree contains compounds that damage the mitochondria and leads to production of reactive oxygen species. Some people say it blocks the cholinesterase enzyme, and other people suggested that it actually blocks, it has got a certain compound which blocks the sodium, potassium, and calcium channels on the neurons. So all those were theories that were proposed. But however, the actual mechanism of action is unknown. But what I would love to tell you, my fellow citizens, is that you have, if you want to make this local brew, if you use these roots, because you've heard what I've said, that it's difficult to distinguish the species. So the best thing you can ever do is to use malt powder. So malt powder and these roots for Rhynchosia, they work the same. So they both contain an enzyme called amylase. So what happens is that, remember, if you are making malt powder, like homemade malt powder, you you soak the maize, then you wait for the maize to germinate, then you pound the maize. So what happens is that during germination, there is an enzyme called amylase which gets activated in the seed, and that enzyme, it breaks down stored starch in the seed, which is a polysaccharide, into a monosaccharide which is called glucose, so that the growing plant can consume that glucose. Okay, so now our area of interest is the amylase enzyme, which is also found in the roots of the Rhynchosia plant. So this amylase enzyme, when you mix it with a mixture of mealie meal and water, and then you put these, either the malt powder or the roots of the Rhynchosia, what will happen is that amylase, it will break down the starch into glucose. Then bacteria such as lactobacillus and streptococcus are going to, a process is going to take place in those bacteria called anaerobic respiration, okay, which is also called fermentation. They are going to produce lactic acid and to some extent even some alcohol, okay. So there will be fermentation of that mixture. Okay, so you find that they both work the same because they contain amylase. So I'm advising you to be using malt powder and not to be using the roots of Rhynchosia, because it is very difficult to know which roots are poisonous and which roots are not poisonous. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe.